Hello and welcome. Sorry for the technical delays. We had a few gremlins in the system. I'm sure you'll appreciate the guys have been working really hard behind the scenes to get things sorted for you guys now. I finished 2 coffees. Hopefully you've got one to hand and you're ready for the WhitePress webinar today. My name's Jez Scott. I'm the Senior Business Development Manager at WhitePress. I'm hosting for you today, Don't Coldplay with Your Links, how digital PR can give you some much wanted attention. To check everything's working properly, can I have some messages in the chat with a wee note of where you are and can you hear me? I'm really curious to hear where you're coming from, and if you don't mind, I'll just click onto the right screen here to see where you're all coming from and see if you can hear me. Super, we've got a real international crowd. Fantastic. What I'd love to do before we get cracking into the webinar is just give you a few housekeeping rules. I'm going to talk for 40-50 minutes depending on, and then follow up with your questions, and depending how many questions you have for me, I reckon it'll run to about an hour. What we're doing now is, now we've put the coins in the meter, is we're recording the session. So if you're like me and you like taking loads of notes, don't worry about it. Just enjoy that coffee and listen, tune in and drop me some great questions. What we're going to do post the webinar is send you the recording and also a Brucey bonus. So if you're here by accident or a friend gave you the link or you've tuned in purely just today and haven't registered, please register now. My colleagues behind the scenes will post the link in the chat just now for me. It's absolutely free of charge, and the benefit of doing that today is you'll get the Brucey bonus from my team for digital PR. So not only will you get the full recording, you'll get the Brucey bonus, but what you must do is sign up now to qualify for that bonus. If you have any questions, just as I said just before, put them in the chat. I can't see them because they're technical bits and bobs, but I'll see them at the end and I'll answer them then. And I promise I will do my best to answer every single one. If I don't get to you today, we'll do a follow-up, I swear. If you want to see any other latest scoops from me or the team of experts we've got here at WhitePress, be sure to follow us across all our channels, especially YouTube. You'll get the latest information from the experts direct to your machine. Finally, if you'd like to know more about digital PR and you haven't done so yet, always organise a meeting with my team or myself and we'll get to you. And that is only in English speaking markets just now, but there's a few Germans on the line I see. Don't worry, our German team is working really hard to get the German digital PR option launched, and we'll follow in other markets sooner, so watch this space. Okay, that's enough of the ground work and the basics. What I'm going to do is kick off into the presentation. So without further ado, let's crack on. Who am I? If you haven't worked with me, so welcome to those potential new clients. My proper working life started at that top image. That's the green dragon. Some of you might recognise that. That's in Hardraw in North Yorkshire, and it's famous. If you check it out, it's in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, where Maid Marian has a shower in the river behind, in the waterfall behind the green dragon. Anyhow, when I was at school, it was unloved and needed some much wanted attention. I started chatting to the landlord there and he gave me a job, and I kicked off a little construction company and hired subcontractors, and I actually started a construction company when I was 17 and doing my A-levels. Following numerous entrepreneurial ventures, post-university, I was actually destined to go into commercial property rather than pubs, and I was qualified as an agent or a valuer with a firm called Story Sons and Parker. That's in the northeast of England. However, one cold December night, I was huddling by the fire in my local pub, and a director from London, visiting from Scottish in Newcastle, the brewery, came into that pub and we started chatting. I showed him a great night round Newcastle, took him for a curry, and he actually ended up stopping in my spare room in my flat. And the day after, in my best Cockney accent, he said, "If you pass all the HR nonsense, you can join my team, Jez." And that was it. I actually passed the HR nonsense a couple of weeks later, the psychometric tests, and etc., and moved into the licence and leisure field. That kicked off around 2007, and I was on the Scottish Newcastle graduate programme. I was quickly involved with the acquisition by Heineken in 2008, and through that programme, fast-tracked into management and board level. Suddenly, in a blink of an eye, 15 years had passed. And as you can see, there's another photograph there with us packing up a van in September 2023. What's that all about? Well, that summer, whilst having a glass of wine with my family on holiday in Poland, my wife and I decided to leave our corporate roles and basically handed in our notice and kick off our own ventures. And that's exactly what we did. We had no plans, no jobs lined up, no home lined up. We packed our house up and actually set off to move to Poland for a new life ahead. The following summer, in 2024, after setting up my little company, again, funnily enough, whilst having a drink, I met the WhitePress team. Stevie, thanks to you, I got chatting to the WhitePress gang and could not resist the challenge of helping them, partnering up with my company across the English-speaking markets. It enabled me to bring my ethos on business, as you can see on the screen there. Just Smart Deals work, and that's the JSDW effect I bring. As part of this, the digital PR side of things started to grow alongside me joining the team and in line with my customers and the market demand. And what I would love to do today, now we've got up and running, is cover the following elements. You can see on the agenda slide there that I hope to cover off all those pointers. Effectively, I'm going to combine some insights with actionable nuggets and how we tested it as a company at WhitePress, following up with client testimonials, including one of my big agency clients, and then bringing to a close with your Q&As. So I hope you're ready and you're still putting those questions in as I move along. Don't worry, as I mentioned, the recording will be shared with you. And one final plug, do be sure to sign up, because then you'll get the recording and then you'll get that Brucey bonus. I cannot emphasise that enough. Anyhow, I can see you want me to crack on and you're on your second coffee. Someone's asked there, Jez, what's the whole cold thing about? Remember back in July? That concert made the headlines, but it wasn't because of their music. Unless you were under a rock, you must have spotted it. Media outlets went wild. The Guardian to CNN, everyone picked up this story. That kiss cam picked up the CEO and HR director of Astronomer. Within hours, that clip went absolutely everywhere. Astronomer, a company hardly known to anyone on that day, got instant national recognition, and it also got a flood of backlinks from top-tier media in the subsequent noise. Look at this. Look at those top-tier publications. Amazing stuff. Happy days, yeah? Well, actually wrong. It wasn't that kind of attention that company, nor those two, wanted for that matter. They didn't want to go viral for having a kiss at a Coldplay concert. And as you can see, a lot of others went to jump on the bandwagon. We had Gwyneth Paltrow, who else was there? Ryan Reynolds. Even though the concert was weeks ago, the topic still keeps getting regurgitated. My old auntie even said to me, had I seen the news about it? So that's how far it reached, and she's a bit crazy and 85. So that's the bridge to the topic for today's presentation and webinar. How do you get the attention matters just as much as getting it, which is what we excel as a WhitePress team, and hopefully we'll continue the conversations with you now you're registered. Don't let your link strategy get absolutely out of control or your stories go viral for the wrong reasons. When the team came up with the original titles as per this slide, I scraped it. I thought, if my old auntie, who's 85 plus, is chatting to me about reactive digital PR, it's a great hook. So then we changed the name of the title to today's title. And then we capitalised, equally jumping on the bandwagon of a trending topic. That got our brand and our webinar message noticed too, and hopefully is why you joined us today. This event provided a relevant, interesting angle also for journalists to cover, and it generated huge brand mentions and quality links from many sources. And some would argue, more importantly, that you too tuned in today, as I've just said. Apologies. So digital PR, the right way that we can help you with, gets you the right attention on your terms. But there is still the one niggling little question that I keep getting asked, and it's in the Reddit threads and the SEO Slack groups. Is it really the best way to build links today? That's a fair question. Link building's been around for decades. Digital PR is the new kid on the block. People think it might be a passing fad. Well, today I have the answers for you, everyone. Let me prove it. Let's start from the very beginning. Discussing digital PR in the context of classic link building, both methods have been around for years, as I've said. Only recently, digital PR started gaining more and more attention and actually became a thing, eh? I've got no apologies, but I'm going to read this slide out to you. KPIs equal backlinks, and you tended to hunt for do follow onlys. Unlinked mentions equals not counted, and manual outreach was the way to do it for backlinks and link building. And please add a link. In other words, classic link building measures success in links. However, digital PR, then let's read through that slide together. KPI equals visibility and coverage. Coverage in top tier media and niche blogs. Oh, well, I want a bit of that. Mentions matter even more than unlinked. Backlinks come more as a side effect, and no follow backlinks also matter. Happy days. And so all that's about is focusing on securing coverage from top tier media outlets. Only digital PR strengthens your brand's reputation and trust. That's why it makes it so mega important and powerful in 2025. But we should go deeper. Here's something a lot of marketeers have missed or not actually adapted to that WhitePress have. Google and AI engines aren't just tracking backlinks any longer. They're building a picture of your brand from what you're putting out there. So what does this actually mean in practice, I hear you cry? Well, first, we've got implied links. Your brand doesn't even need a hyperlink anymore to matter. A mention in The Guardian or Forbes is absolutely top tier trust signals. Google connects that message and mention with your brand. And here's the interesting bit. LLMs, which actually read the content, also remember and repeat those mentions. So getting covered in major outlets builds visibility in both search engines and also LLMs. Mentions in major media therefore matter even without a link and provide all those superb trust signals. Then we've got branded search growth. When people search directly for you and your brand, your name gets mentioned more often. Google reads that search as authority and builds yet again more trust. The third thing, consistent appearances in Google and Google News reinforce that authority. It's like a feedback loop. The more credible coverage you're getting, the more people search for you. And the more Google searches and surfaces you in the trusted context. It's all about compounding. Fourth, community signals. What's that equal? We all know relevance. If forums such as Reddit and user-generated reviews are getting spun round, they play also into the algorithms and also LLMs. Judge your relevance. If your brand pops up authentically in those conversations, that is a totally different type of validation. That is top trust. That is unlike some of the spammy link tactics that cannot be faked at scale. So what I'm saying is you cannot fake those community mentions. It's got to come from real visibility that gives real relevance. Trust signals is my term. Trust signals on steroids is what I call it. So just to recap, backlinks are still signals of trust, reputation and authority. So are unlinked mentions. Google and AI no longer care just about backlinks. They all help with context setting. Google and AI, if you like, have started to ask, is this brand showing up in credible places? Are people talking about it? And do trusted outlets cover it? It is a lot closer how my crazy aunt talks to her friends rather than the algorithms we all try to meet their expectations and second guess what they wanted. And it was only possibly Rayman that could ever sort of win the algorithm story. Digital PR is designed to create those exact signals. Both the algos and all humans now recognise digital PR. Every piece of coverage that you get works on multiple levels. It gives the visibility in Google search, it fuels branded search growth, and feeds the LLMs. So, what is the real answer? Digital PR does not just earn links, it earns the signals that both Google and AI need to recognise your brand in 2025. Or as I put it, it's the steroid for trust signals across the internet. Furthermore, for years, SEOs and digital marketeers have debated what really matters. It's always a great debate in the pub around the fireplace. Is it the number of backlinks that matter? Is it the authority? Is it where they come from? Or something else entirely different? In 2025, the answer is more than clear than ever. Numbers are very cool, but as it says on the screen there next to a star, quality is king. Context is queen. And then finally, quantity is not enough. But here's the thing, not everyone follows this handy crib sheet. And we've all seen what happens when old habits kick in. Perhaps instead of calling them mistakes, as my team have put on the screen there, I like to call them biases. It's old ways of working that just click in without you really thinking about it. Things that made sense at one time don't make sense today. Let's be honest, everyone in SEO and in this world has fallen into these traps at some point. Let's look at the most common biases. The ways brands still get link building wrong. And then I'll come on to the topic, digital PR, and how to help fix them. Focusing first on quantity over quality. Of course, the more backlinks can feel better, but let's be honest with ourselves. Quantity usually comes over the quality of the publication. And in link building, it's a huge mistake just simply to count the number of backlinks. Quantity only makes sense if it's built on top quality. Otherwise, you're measuring the wrong things. Think back to the digital PR and Coldplay, Hundreds of kiss cams were live that night, but only one ended up in the headlines. It's exactly how backlinks work in 2025. It's not about how many you have, it's about which ones matter. And that's where digital PR shifts the focus. From just counting links, it earns the kind of coverage that actually gets your brand noticed, but in a controlled way. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, in this case a kiss, no one would probably notice you. But if, God forbid, you do something differently than the rest of the crowd and you get the spotlight, then digital PR focuses on this uniqueness. This is what we're going to be doing through our expert services. We break through that noise at WhitePress to deliver unique perspectives. A next mistake we see all the time is spammy tactics. And examples of those, buying links in bulk, as I've kind of hinted at, the old technique of filling footers and sidebars with exact match anchors, well, that's gone. Parasite SEO, or for example, spinning the same content across multiple publications, or irrelevant blogs. Sure, some might create some quick wins, but in the end, you're going to get penalised. If your ranking's not going to go down, the worst is your customers might start distrusting you. And then even worse, that's wasted your budget, which hits you in the pocket, in your wallet. And then your reputation's tarnished. But not only that, then the link vanishes overnight. Have a quick look at that on the screen. Quick wins fade, reputations last. Up until 2023, we had lots of different ranking systems. We had OFC, core algorithms. We also had helpful content systems, review updates, what else do we have? Spam, product reviews, etc. However, since 2024, we've just had core and spam. That image on the screen there shows a website that used some spammy tactics and then it crashed. Digital PR takes the opposite approach, as I keep mentioning. It earns coverage that's newsworthy and relevant. And when you're quoted as the expert in trusted outlets, or your brand appears as a data-led story, it's impossible for Google to make that mistake and recognize it as spam. The difference is simple, guys. Spam is about shortcuts. Digital PR is about credibility and all about the compounding effect that I've mentioned before. It's a bit like the gym workouts. You don't just work on your legs, otherwise you get massive legs and nothing on arms, or vice versa. Work out on your arms and leave your skinny legs. Google will recognize the difference if you've done a full body workout, using that analogy. And so you should use a full body workout in your strategy. Hopefully that you follow. The third mistake we see all the time is actually not having a long-term strategy. So using that gym analogy, you'd spread out the load for the long term to make maximum gains. A lot of people don't do that, and it's the same with digital PR and link building. Brands run one campaign and then chase a burst of backlinks, and then they might move on to another short campaign. As if authority was going to be built overnight. It takes time. The reality, without that consistency, as we've seen, the wins fade fast. Authority and trust always compounds, as I keep mentioning. You need to show up in the media again and again, a bit like doing your gym workout. That's exactly where digital PR changes the focus. It's not just about one campaign, it's about building that drumbeat of visibility. Each story, each expert quote, layered with good media attention, it all stacks up. Over time, you get that authority and trust signals. It's about using those steroids, as I've mentioned, in your gym workout, although I'm not condoning that, by the way, in your personal life. It's got to take time. Finally, measuring only the cost per link is also a perfect mistake to include. It's old school KPI thinking. At one time you pay X and you might get Y links and then you divide the number. But here's the problem. Not all links are created equal, as I mentioned before. A backlink could be buried in a low quality guest post that could be cheap, but it won't drive visibility, traffic and trust that you guys need for your projects or for your clients. On the other hand, one placement in one major publication could actually fuel that brand awareness, get you the referral traffic and the lasting authority. Digital PR gives us the chance to change this equation. Don't just focus on the old KPI thinking and the cheapest links. We absolutely optimize for the most impactful ones and can help you and recommend through the experts at WhitePress. What does that mean? It means that brand mentions and share a voice and the long-term credibility of your campaign is shown up in respected media. The ROI is much bigger than the old link count on the screen there. Lots of brands are still asking me, should I invest in link building or should I put my budget into PR? And the answer is, the best clients do not choose. They combine the strategies as I've indicated. Traditional link building does still play a vital role. It gives you the predictable placements, so you've got control over anchors, for example, and you can target direct relevance. It's the steady, consistent way to strengthen your site's authority over time. PR, on the other hand, brings the spark on top of those link placements. It wins the coverage in the media that you simply cannot get through classic outreach targets, whether through your own or through our team. It earns the brand mentions, linked or unlinked, that Google and LLMs interpret as authority. And it builds that real trust with audiences, so they start chatting about it. Together, coupled and combined, they're far more powerful, and that is the steroids that we can deliver to your campaign. Link building gives you the consistent growth, and PR adds that sparkle on top. The result isn't just more links, it's links that come with brand recognition and that trust. That's all the theory. That's great. And I've talked for a while, so I need a sip of water. So what we're going to do now is, for those new guys who are on the webinar, just let you know a little bit more about us at WhitePress, and then I'll continue with some actual examples. Back to me. Hello there. Hopefully you can see the WhitePress approach, and you've got a bit on the WhitePress team and what we do. So what's the approach? As I mentioned, we do not separate the strategies. We run link building services to ensure steady growth and digital PR campaigns to secure the top tier coverage. Using the muscle building analogy, the link building compounds with the steroid fuel on top that I've just mentioned, especially since we combine this with multilingual content creation and integrated reporting through the platform. Clients get the best of both link authority and brand visibility in one mega busting strategy. Okay, so that's all great, Jez, and you've talked quite a while, but how do we actually do that PR side of things? Essentially, we have three techniques. The first one, as you can see on the screen just there, is called Expert Link Up. We actively respond to our active journalist requests, lining them up with our best fit clients as the experts in the niche, and we tend to get a dozen, 15 maybe requests or more a month from our contacts. This aligns people at pace. We can hit the top tier publications with non-sponsored client coverage, unlike the old paid advertorials, which are usually marked sponsored, so it's absolutely top draw. The second way is outreach, traditional outreach. We have a team, I used to call them the team of secret squirrels. They go out and contact all our contacts and push multi-market stories on your behalf in your specific niche to our contacts. You get great contact and great content with those contacts that might get picked up by other top tier authorities, and then it goes through great publications. So that's number two. The third way we do it is my favourite. We've called it Seize the Spotlight. It's where we use our close links with clients to amplify their voice, and we push that to just the top tier outlets. We drive the trends, we drive the story, we seize that spotlight. Cool, right? But have we tested it? Well, of course we have. Absolutely. Now let me run through that. We did 2 months of testing and we gained 23 backlinks, as you can see on the screen. Yeah, it was a mix of no follow and do follow links, but on average it was around 65 for rounding up, plus DR. We also had 11 unique domains, and we were featured in those top tier outlets, as you can see on the screen there. So just to call them out: Zapier, business.com, SEO Optima, and Taboola. A few niche gems that Google really loves. But let me show you some more of the detail. Agata, our international SEO, was picked up and quoted in business.com. So we're like, oh, happy days. A great publication for us, clearly, and linked through general business niche. But then Zapier picked up the story. And although this one was a no follow, we were super excited because it was great authority, and actually a number of LLMs then picked it up from this. And then good things come in three. Actually, a niche publication, SE Optimizer, as you can see on the screen, was even better. Sorry, SE Optima. I always get that one wrong. Apologies. It was even better as it optimized our content. That's what was in my head, you see. And a great, absolutely superb fit within our niche. So in summary, what does that mean? Yes, digital PR is an absolute stellar way to build links. It isn't just a side project anymore. It's not a nice to have. You need to do it alongside some link building. And the truth is, the highest quality links in 2025 don't just come from asking. They come from pushing your story and getting the right people to look at it. And then people start talking, and it's that feedback loop. The evidence speaks for itself. Digital PR isn't just about links. It's all about brand, all about authority, and getting seen in the right places. Backlinks, they just follow naturally. So yes, digital PR is absolutely the best way to build backlinks. You can use my steroid analogy if you like, but it is the best way. That's all great, but you know, what do your clients say, Jez? So here's a few. I'll just give you a few seconds to read that. As you can see, they're a happy bunch. I was hoping to share a lot more detail, but we've got NDAs with our clients and it makes it a bit difficult. However, chatting to a client the other day off the back end of a successful couple of campaigns, Paramount Digital, a large agency client in the UK, were happy to share the following nuggets. Again, I'll let you read it through at your own leisure. In summary, you can see a thumbs up from Paramount. It was our proactive recommendations throughout the use of, we used outreach and expert link up for their projects, alongside the link building work. And I guess some of those in the UK might remember the old Ron Seal advert. What I would like to say is we did what we said we would, and it says on the tin. Now the final and last bit. Always remember the JSDW effect. Just smart deals work, and as I keep emphasising, the steroid is digital PR, and that is smart. I'm not advocating steroid use in your personal life, remember that. And finally, a massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you. There's loads of you online there, and that is superb, and we'd love to work with every single one of you if you contact the team. If you've registered, as I said right at the start, you'll receive an email with a link to the recording and you will get that Brucey bonus. I can't give you any more details. You must register to get the Brucey bonus. Sign up to all our social media channels. You'll get the secret juice before anyone else. And then finally, if you found this webinar interesting, be sure to share it with your friends and share the word. Clearly, if you're interested for the English language projects, schedule a call with me and the team. My email's there, and let's book something in. I'll now move to the Q&A section and then bring to close the webinar. Thanks again for listening, and I'm just going to move on to the questions. A secret squirrel, as I mentioned, just handed them to me here because we're going old school with a few technical glitches. So what I've got here is the first question. Now let me have a quick read. Oh, Cal, I recognise that name. That's one of our interns, so thanks for tuning in. How do you recommend balancing sponsored content with earned media to avoid looking overly promotional? Now that's an absolute great question, Cal. Hopefully you've been listening, but I'll just break it down for you. You've got your own content. So what's that? That's your website and your blog. That is your foundation, as hopefully we've coached you on that side of things. Create blog posts, create guides and reports that are educational and valuable. As you know, WhitePress, and in your role, you can help our clients with that at a local or an international level. And then next, we've got the secret squirrels, as I call them, the outreach team. They go out and earn media through our active digital PR. What they do is either expert link up for the breaking news, as I've mentioned, or if you remember, the cool side of things, seize the spotlight with the journalists' contacts we have within the specialised industry that you'd like, Cal. And then we push the stories through those channels. You've got sponsored content. Don't ever forget about that. So you can have paid placements through our WhitePress database and marketplace. You can use that to fill the gaps and amplify your best content. What do I mean by that? For example, you could have an amazing piece of content that just isn't getting enough traction, and a well-placed sponsored article can give you that visibility boost without a do follow link. And then no follow always contributes, as I've mentioned earlier, to EAT. And if you recall, that's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, put my teeth in, and trustworthiness. So it all helps your brand identity. Finally, there's link insertion on guest posts with well-written copy that WhitePress can help you with, as you know, Cal, but others might not. A link insertion can gain the power of association if it's linked near to other brands, and then that can drive click-through, and especially if that article already has great SEO metrics, and you can slice and dice using our platform or speaking to our experts. That'll give you the link juice or the equity, as it's called. Alternatively, we could create new copy and look to place some guest posting to drive awareness equally. Both those techniques usually gain do follow links, but no follows also available. What I would say, and I don't think I called this out when I started, just jumping straight into the answers, I tend to do, it's a great rule of thumb to mix your content. So your content does not feel promotional or spammy. It also then helps people chatting about it as your brand grows in the social channels. And it's a self-fulfilling circle and puts the icing on the cake. Great question. Right, next one. Sorry, just check here. What have we got? Another great question. Sorry, I can't see who it's from. We've got a question. For businesses with limited budgets, should they focus more on classic link building or invest in digital PR efforts? That's an excellent question and very common from my customers and contacts. Businesses have been cutting back budgets since time began. The short answer is they should absolutely focus on digital PR efforts, but with a strategic approach that incorporates elements of classic link building. As I said earlier, you need to combine the two. We can flex either way. Speak to our experts today to help you if you need some assistance with that. We're all ears. Next question. Okay. Is it not a problem that my brand can be found among other links in the article? Will that not diminish the authority? I could give you the short answer, and it would only ever be bad if it was linked within an unethical or really, really poor content or a site with poor reputation. That is the only time. So what do you get if your brand is linked alongside others? You get the power of association. So happy days. People looking at those well-known brands will see your brand, and by association, you'll get perhaps click-through if you're lucky, but customer eyes on you, and that starts conversations. So you can get referrals, but equally, what it does do is it offers that diverse backlink profile, as I mentioned just before in my other answer to Cal. It helps mix it up, and so it looks organic and natural as possible, far removed from any spammy tactics, and looks absolutely great to drive authenticity and credibility. Okay. I've got one here from Natalia. Apologies who asked those questions before. I couldn't actually read the writing from my colleagues from the floor, so apologies I didn't address you by name, but I just couldn't read the names. I've got one from Natalia. Do no follow links from digital PR matter, or are they totally useless? Okay, so I think I referred to link juice or link equity, which boosts SEO. And that was always the golden thing in SEO. But whilst you do not get that, what it will help with is brand awareness and credibility. I sound like a bit of a broken record. Brand awareness and credibility plus authority is what you want in your industry. And LLMs and Google are looking for it. No follows contribute, as I said to Cal, to EEAT. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness and trustworthiness. It's the steroids. So don't argue over, it's a no follow link or it's a do follow link. They all help, and it all helps build a natural and diverse backlink profile that won't get penalized, remember. Oh, sorry, the other thing that's just sprung to mind before I move on to the next question is referral traffic. And that brings everything to an end. Thank you for your time, particularly with the gremlins we had at the start. It's been wonderful talking to you. If you want to carry on the conversation, as I said, drop me a line, drop the team a line. We'll hook you up with the right expert in your market and continue the conversations. Thank you and goodbye.